we're going to move it this year to a different venue with the IHRA. And, we're working with Monster to try to get some freestyle motocross, some mountain bike or some BMX skateboarding, some other things going on that I think will really catapult this year with the IHRA series for the World Championship in September.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That's
with
one
all
thing
that horsepower
I
behind
love.
you.
Hopefully you guys can come out there. I'd love to have you guys out.
Oh yeah, Ray always puts his
Absolutely.
West Coast boat roundup out there. If the timing's right, I'll be there
every time. Yeah, it's cool.
I want to come to one of your guys'. You guys were talking about the boat test. I would love to come out. If you guys do that, I'd love to come out there with you guys and
please
check that out.
Dude, your hair looks fucking on point.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. They usually bring like 15 or 16 boats, and we go on.
Yeah, matter of fact, we had
rip them.
Jet Girl 777 Anna Glennon. She joined us from your world. Myrick took her out on
she
on a
drove
DCB M42.
DCB,
let her drive it while he throttled.
We got her personal best. I think we went 125 or 123, something like that. But anyway.
It's funny because I started in the early 90s, right? We started going to Havasu in 92 was my first year in Havasu. And then, I got older, right? Started making some money when I was 18 years old. And, one of the first purchases I purchased was an Eliminator boat. I was in Havasu. And, I back then it was a 27-foot Eliminator, but I've had, Conquest DCBs and some different stuff over the years. So I've always been a boat guy, and I've talked to Tyler. I've been thinking about getting a new boat now, and a DCB or MTI, different stuff. And, I would love to come out and just do that with you guys and test all that stuff.
I'll extend the personal invitation to you. We'd love to have you.
Perfect. I'll let Myrick drive and or throttle, either one, and we'll do one or the other.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm down.
I would have a hard time. Like, I'm trying to think about myself on which one, I would be better at, because in watercraft, we're doing obviously both things, right? We're running trim and, like, for example, nowadays, depending on the class, we have two different trims. We either have certain ones have electric trim, and other ones we have what's called, like a trim lever that's pulling the trim tabs and flaps, basically tabs like you guys have. And when we pull them, they're instantly down or instantly up, or electric trim.
Just to slam the nose down for a turn.
Yeah, and try to get it down as quick as possible, just like you guys do, right? To get the nose down. So I've always done that, right? But I'm also controlling the throttle. So I always think about when I'm watching your guys' videos, because Myrick, I've watched yours and Tyler's videos when you guys are communicating back and forth, and it'd be cool to be in the boat with you guys and see, because I would, I'd try to figure out which one I would be better at. I don't know, because it would be hard to say.
You probably be the mentality that I see that you are in the competitive is throttle man. You should be a
really?
That's what I was thinking too, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel that you have to have two different personalities. If you have two wild men, you're gonna wad it up.
Yeah. Like Pastrana.
Pastrana.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I've seen those videos too.
And what's his buddy?
Jim York.
York. Right there. Yeah.
Those guys are hilarious.
You have two,
I know. I'm trying to pick up the old like it. All right. Well, I mean, you want to lose? No. All right. Then shut up and drive. Good call.
You have a stunt driver and we're a wild man.
Yeah.
But
their videos are hilarious though in the boat.
Yeah,
for sure.
At each other.
His helmet's bouncing down in his face. He can't see. He's trying to drive. I'm just blown away.
Yeah, he borrowed a buddy's because he used his for the dunker test. And it was all wet. I was like, well, you're not supposed to use the one you're going to race with.
It's funny because you watch their videos in boat, and then I watch yours, and I'm like, holy shit, what a difference of communication and professionalism. It's night and day difference.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So funny.
I don't know how many years, 20 years doing it. So
I was going to ask you how long you've been doing it.
First race 2004 as a driver, and there was some down years in there, but going real hard, like at least 10 races a year since 2015.
Okay.
Last 10 years going hard.
And what about Tyler? How long's he been in it?
I'd say he's about 8 years, 8 or 9 years. Yeah. He built a team. And I actually was racing against him for many years. And then he would always say, because I always worked on his boats in my shop ever since he started, he's had one of my head guys, Jake Licklighter, which you've met him before, but he's always been his guy and one of our employees at Performance Boat Center. And yeah, so one day he was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we ever raced together? And I was like, yeah, it'd be cool. You know, you just kind of like, you know, having a beer, talking about it. And it's like, it came to he's like, I want to build a new boat. You want to get in it with me? I'm like, fuck yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's sick. Yeah. So that's kind of how the partnership kind of started. You guys,
that's
racing.
How it was, yeah.
What boats were you racing against each other?
Super Cats. So I was actually sponsored by Jimmy John at the time. And the Jimmy John boat was the one I was in with Johnny Tomlinson, and we had happened to win.
Performance Boat Center.
Yeah, Performance Boat Center. Yeah, so, and I think we won three national championships and then 2 or 3 world championships in that boat. And then we went to another boat to where it didn't go as well as a big MTI. And then there was a transition to where Tyler was like, hey, I want to buy a new boat. And that's when it all went down.
That's cool.
So,
and you drive some other boats, right, Myrick? You're like a steer driver for multiple classes.
Yeah. So I've actually, and throttled. Like I had a win in New Orleans this year with Chad Rootsil and
a guy you sold a boat to or something, they said, right?
Yeah.
I remember Tyler telling me that story.
Yeah. So a guy we sold a boat to, and it was his first race, I think, or second race. And just basically it was good, you know, have a veteran in there teaching him. And then so
and is that he gonna race again, that guy?
Yeah, he's actually, man, he's going nuts. He's got I'm not even supposed to talk about one, but he'll have 3 boats this year.
Okay. All right.
He's hooked.
He's definitely got bitten hard by the
I was gonna say he went from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. But yeah, stock class is one of the classes that I've raced in a long time. That's 32 footers with 300s on the back. And then Super Cat is the one that I've probably ran the most. And then now Class 1. So
yeah, so obviously I know you guys have a weekly podcast and stuff and talk about the stuff, but like for me, right? So, or maybe people that are listening that that follow me that are going to listen to this podcast right for the first time. What's the difference? The different classes, right? I know there's a lot of different classes on the boats and stuff too. There's V hauls and what's kind of the different classes? Good, yeah, different stuff.
Yeah, so catamarans. Obviously, there's the lower horsepower, but still faster than hell and light. Like, say for example, stock class would be the 300s, and they have their little V8s on the back, so the twin, and they're canopied, and they're catamarans. So they weigh 4,900 pounds. In a race, we can see 120 miles per hour, and it's actually one of the hardest boats to drive and run. And I think it's made me a way better. It probably, like, for you getting on a jet ski and like this one's an animal, then you get on like an endurance one and you're like, man, I could throw this thing wherever, or whatever. But it's similar in the big boats. And then Super Cat, which is a catamaran class, they're 509 cubic inch engines and they make about 850 horsepower. You're capable of seeing 140 mile an hour in a straightaway. Class 1s are bigger than that, and they're catamarans, and they have 2 Mercury Racing 1100 QC4Vs, which is a big turbo 9.1 liter, and they have to weigh 12,050 pounds coming out of the water at the end of the race, but they're capable of 160 miles per hour. So it's about 20 mile an hour increments in the catamarans. And then the V bottoms have similar ways of doing it. But they're either, since a catamaran, it's rare to see a single engine catamaran. There is a 300 class, but it's not as popular yet. But anyway, the V hulls have a lot of classes. For examples like a breakout. So they have a 75 mile an hour and 85 mile an hour, and those guys is kind of like bracket racing. And
Okay.
They have GPS in the boat and they can't break over. And then you go to the Mod V's and is it V Extremes and then
Super V.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
okay.
yeah, but I've always been a cat guy.
I was wondering if how they limit some of the classes, right? So the ones that they limit, they put GPS in, and if you go over that limit, no matter, you can do whatever modifications you want, right? But if it's over that speed, it's irrelevant.
Correct.
You guys are DQ'd at that point.
Yep. I think if you break out, you have to be back within 3 seconds. And then,
I got you.
Yeah.
And then they did for a little bit a zero tolerance. So if you broke out,
race is over.
Done.
Yeah. So,
and they probably went away from that because that's obviously, kind of hard, right? I think the 3 second, right? I don't know anything about it, right? But the 3 second rule seems a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you're side by side with a guy, and
adrenaline and everything is pumping,
and just hitting the wave right. Say that you're going 80 miles per hour, and you go down the next wave, and it goes 81. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, I got to bring it back. I couldn't do it.
And what about you, Ray? Like, did you ever race or drive or anything?
Just poker runs and stuff, and I got started with the whole offshore stuff with a Levy Craft factory team. Started by the owners there back in the early 2000s, and so I would run with them, pit for them, and jump in the boat for testing and stuff like that.
Okay.
No, never raced competitively, but like your pro watercraft world, this right here is the cusp of something huge with the IHRA taking over the offshore series. I mean, everything with the resources that are coming in, like you said, Daryl, doing everything properly and putting all the right pieces into place. We just had Bob Teague, who was named the chief referee for tech inspection for all of IHRA coming. He was on the podcast with us, and he's a co-tester. He's with Myrick, co-tester of our Speedboat magazine test team. And so it's just really exciting time for all of us, right? And so love the fact that your series and the offshore series are going to meld together on four of the races, and that's going to be super exciting. And then we've got other stuff that
Timmy Seabold's F1.
And he came from he used to watercraft guy at one time too.
Yeah.
He was sold PWC, had dealership and stuff. A lot of watercraft guys bought skis from him back in the day and stuff.
Yeah, I bought a Polaris from him in early 90s.
My buddy Mark Queen just messaged me the other day, and he's like, "Man, I bought a ski from him."
Yeah, that's cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So Dustin, I mean, like as a teenager, first starting in training your ass off to become the best, did you ever think that this sport would take you to where you're at now?
To be honest with you, I knew, I always believed in my heart, right, that I was gonna, I had that never quit, really get there mentality. I always had that. So I knew it was going to take me far. But what I didn't know it was going to take me to is teaching me the lessons along the way of racing, yes, for sure, but the lessons that I learned in life for business and things like that I was able to translate into to operating companies and managing things, and that no quit mentality, that kind of when I got into buying my first dealership. So my first when I was 18, 19 years old, right, I started my first business, which at that time was a car accessory business. We were doing lifts and lowering kits and that type of stuff, at 18, 19 years old. And then I went into buying tattoo studios. And then, I was in Lake Havasu actually. And hurricanes that hit Florida at that time. And this was like 2001 or 2002. And I was, a factory racer at that time. And when the World Finals ended in October, I didn't really know, we always had 4 or 5 months off, right? So when the hurricanes hit, was in Lake Havasu, and I was thinking, okay, how do I capitalize on this when I go back home? I'm racing, making good money. How do I go back and start this? So when the hurricanes had hit, I got home 2 weeks later, and I had no construction. My dad did construction when I was young, and he was a superintendent for a construction company, but I had no experience myself personally. And so I went home and went online and bought these signs, to stick in the ground that you see everywhere that said drywall repair and painting. And put them all around town during the hurricane, and everybody lost their roofs and the drywall collapsed. And all of a sudden I had 8,000 phone calls in a matter of 2 weeks time and didn't know what to do. And I did that for about 6 months and started like trying to figure out how to hire employees and different things. And literally started from a brand new business. I literally had no experience, zero. And and then I had a buddy of mine that was in construction, and he was selling lumber. He was a lumber guy and selling lumbers to all the big builders like KB Homes and just all the big builders around the world or around the
Sure,
United
yeah.
States. And I went to him and I said, "Hey, Chris, how do I reach out to these people that are the new construction guys? I don't want to do remodel work anymore. I want to do interior framing of walls, drywall, and painting for all these guys. How do I get the right people?" And he gave me a list of all the big builders in South Florida from like Orlando South. And I contacted them, and just a good salesman, man. I went from, in literally, I'm not exaggerating, from a business that started with signs in the ground to in probably 12-month period to we were doing 30, 40 new construction houses a month. And then in 2 years time, that was 1,000 houses a month. I'm sorry, 1,000 houses a year. And then we started doing painting, interior doors, trim, windows. And at the busiest time, we were doing 300 houses a month, which then gave me, that went on for about 8 or 9 years, which gave me the money to go into to go buy the dealership business.
Wow.
That's an
That's
awesome
So
awesome.
story.
it literally, and kind of goes back to the answer, kind of what question, not to get off topic, right? But I didn't know that watercraft racing was going to take me here, but it taught me that never give up mentality and to think outside the box. Which if I wasn't, that mindset, I would have never been laying in bed in Lake Havasu thinking, "Hey, what am I going to do for the next 3 months while I'm off?" And went home and started the business. And like I said, that business, that construction business, ran all the way till 2010 when I moved to Georgia and was able to buy my first dealership. And I bought my first power sports dealership, which was every single brand of dealership. And same thing, it went into one dealership. And then I decided I was going to buy a second dealership. And there was one that was kind of struggling. And everybody told me, "Man, you shouldn't buy that store. It's losing money. It's not done well." And I went over and sat in a parking lot of a Ruby Tuesdays across the street for 4 hours and watched the traffic and watched all the stuff. And I said, "Man, I'm going to buy this dealership." And I had the manufacturers, the reps for all these OEMs telling me, "Man, I don't know. You're going to put your other business in financial strain. I think you're going to lose it, blah, blah, blah." And, that business started. And, when we bought it, it did 3 times the revenue in the first year we had it. And, it ended up, all those decisions along the way turned into 10 dealerships. We started a business when I first got into the power sports business, to a $10 million in gross sales business to a $250 million gross sales business in a 8-year period. It all those things started just really just because watercraft racing.
Yeah. Has to be a fun, or not fun, but a good, fun. Yeah. But something that you go to, something you've built, and, and it's awesome stuff. You have all the motorcycles, and assume side by sides and
Everything.
watercraft. Yeah. So everything. It's got to be freaking awesome to walk in there on a Monday morning and go, "Look at this place. It's going to be
The empire
badass."
that you've built.
Yeah.
Yeah,
from
I'll
your
send you
hustle,
some
that's
pictures.
amazing.
I'll send you some pictures, man. Like when you're in the office looking down, and built, when I bought the first store, but then it was kind of an old building, and then we built a brand new 60,000 square foot facility for our, first new store. And when I was building that dealership, it was my first one and pride, and built my office up on the second floor to overlook the entire showroom, and see, 800 motorcycles, watercraft, PWC on the floor at one time, and just to really see and look at, that kind of where my life, had kind of started and where it went. And when you walk through that dealership, there was before I had a big race shop. You walk through, and I had a 2,000 square foot race shop in that facility, and you walk through the dealership, and I built it with glass walls. So when you were in the showroom, you were looking into the race shop to all the mechanics and stuff. Separate from our service department, I kept the race shop all painted white. It was like an operating room,
Yeah,
and the
that's dope.
customers would stop, and you would see them watching kind of what was going on, and it was really surreal to sit there and to see that kind of whole life's work really in front of me.
That's
Wow,
outstanding.
that is cool.
And it
And
just, like you said, it kind of went back to just like, I to be honest with you, I mean, I was got so busy in racing, and probably not the best decision my dad probably should have let me do, but I got into racing, and I quit going to school, dropped out of school in ninth grade, and kind of built. I literally built everything from ninth grade. I at 16 years old, when I was able to quit going to school, I signed up for homeschooling and said I was going to do it. Never did it, and I personally couldn't. I I just couldn't grasp my mind around class, right? Where it's the opposite. My sons, we forced them to go to college. We forced them to do the opposite of what I did my entire
yeah,
life. But
do
I was
as I
just
say,
like,
not as I do. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was kind of just like that work mentality since I was a kid. My mind was always going a million miles a minute, and I talk a million miles a minute, and just my brain never shuts off. So I just was always looking for that next thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
And
congratulations.
thank you, Myrick. I know what you work in the boat business and stuff, right?
Yeah. We sell boats, and we sell as many. I mean, a cheap boat in our facility would be 150,000, and an expensive one would be. I mean, they're all expensive to me, but
Yeah,
you can get upwards of 2.4, 2.5 million for
yeah.
one, and so we do about 250 boats a year. So we do a lot of
And
them.
you're in the
But I'm in the service side, so um,
service.
service and rigging and
Okay.
boat design and testing. So I'm not in sales. I always tell people that I'm not a good salesman because I'll tell you everything that's wrong with a boat. So,
You
but
would
yeah,
think you'd be good at sales. You're on the podcast, and you like to talk and
yeah,
stuff. That's what
yeah,
sales is, right?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like when I went to tech school, it was like something. It's like, oh, I finally found after sitting in class and all that stuff, and like looking at Summit magazines and stuff when I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be studying, and and reading magazines, and you know going home and watching Krusty's Demons of Dirt, and then
It was the best.
now finally uh now finally somebody taught me something about something that I'm interested in. That's how it worked for me. So
Yeah.
And Ray, have
And
you
and
always
his
been in the boats? You've always been on the boat side, or what about your background?
no, I was in my dad started a tool company here in California, and
Okay.
so out of high school and college, went and helped work with my dad and kind of built the company up with him and been doing that. But then built my first custom boat and with my brother, went in on a Levy craft in early 2000 and custom built it together. And like that's, I mean, sparked it. We bought a boat together before that, used one, but went in together on building a new one, and that just sparked my passion for everything. I mean, we were down there, especially me. I was damn near every day on just seeing the progress of the build and
Right.
taking pictures and stuff like that, and that kind of like every day, and when it
Yeah.
finally was delivery day, it was like, oh my god, there was nothing better.
and is Chris the one that built it?
Yeah, Chris Kmeyer, and
Yeah.
I blame him for getting me into this whole world, and then followed him in his factory team into offshore racing. With Kevin Cooper, he was the throttleman back at the time for the F1 boat, and just snowballed from there, and then started running around with all these knuckleheads and ran ran into them and poker runs and stuff. And became friends with the publisher of Hot Boat magazine back in the day, and then that's
I used to love
essentially
that
kind of
magazine back in the day.
yeah, he was the head of that thing. And man, they ran with under Larry Flint Publications, so they had an unlimited budget, and so we'd see them at the shows, and
God
he'd
bless
travel
him.
with all the bikini models and the test team guys and stuff. And like, man, he to me was Elvis. I mean, because he was like walking around and just king shit. Like,
Yeah.
His stories
loved
are
it.
great. Them Larry Flint
He's
days being
for
Oh,
sure.
I can imagine. He
Yeah.
was like me. He was like a 14-year-old kid at the bikini contest trying to like this is I remember I still to this day, right? You don't have very many like the throwaway camera pictures, right? I
Right,
still
yeah.
have I still
Same.
I'm not exaggerating. I still have all those, my 24-36 cameras from that bikini contest, that very first watercraft race I ever went to at 14 years old.
Yeah. They're full.
Uh, yeah, my dad
Awesome.
probably thought I was a full creep at that point because that's all like pretty much there was like 10 jet ski pictures and the rest was the bikini contest at 14.
Well, he
It's
probably
insane.
checked out your photos several times too, though.
Yeah, it's funny, man. It's been a wild experience.
No, and it's great, and the whole community, the whole industry is amazing. Yours as well, and with that, you guys are both monster athletes. We have a very exciting announcement that we've been teasing for a couple weeks. Myrick, you want to tell everybody
Oh,
what
yeah.
we got going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
the Boats and Bros podcast is now have an official sponsor, and it's Monster Energy Drink.
Awesome.
Woo!
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
I love
very
that.
excited about it, and so proud to be joining the family along with the two of you guys, and looking for.
So this is the first one under the Monster Energy one.
That is. That's
yeah,
the
it is.
official announcement right there.
Yeah,
That's what
and
I
so-
love it. Thank you to Dave, Casey, everybody. That's awesome.
Oh, amazing people, Dave and Casey and Mitch, and just
Yeah.
outstanding. Can't believe we're here. And Myrick and I just started this because we love the industry that we're in and love talking
Mhm.
about it. And he and I, we shoot the shit all the time when we're together at events, and then
Yeah.
this just kind of snowballed like you, Dustin. And, I think we have something probably brewing in the near future for yourself, right?
Yeah. It'd be cool to do, that type of thing. Like you said, Dave, it's always said, hey man, you should have a podcast, and he kind of envisioned just like you guys, right? Me bringing different racers on, all the previous racers and, and just people that I'm friends with, motocross guys, boat guys,
Yeah.
a snowmobile. So like my story, it's like it goes back to I raced motocross as a kid, and then from there jet skis, and then went back to motocross for a while during the off season. I did 3 years of snowcross when I was racing for Sea-Doo. I went and did 3 years of snowcross up in. I lived in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Did 3 years of snowcross for Ski-Doo at the time. And then I did 2 years with Monster and stuff. I did 2 years of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Series racing. So
Jeez.
I've done a little bit of mix of everything, right?
awesome.
So I kind of got lots of stuff to talk about, and can bring some
Yeah.
different guests on, and
Yeah.
it'd be cool.
A lot
It'd be
of
cool to
acquaintances. Yeah.
it'd be cool to
mentors.
bring a lot of that stuff on.
I always love bringing my mentors on because there was a lot of people that contributed to getting where we are, basically. And to
Yeah, like
get 'em on
even
there.
Mitch,
Yeah.
we were talking about like Mitch,
Yeah.
Thomas and I, his son, decided to do this watercraft stuff together. Him and I, when we were in Havasu, right? Thomas and I were trying to figure out how to, grow the watercraft and kind of do our own series. And we had a couple different ideas, and we went one way and then decided to go a different way. And Thomas and I became friends because his dad had been obviously kind of really wasn't my boss. He didn't really deal with the stuff, but was kind of my boss at Monster for 17 years, and we became friends, and kind of like you said, mentor and led me down the next thing, right? And people like that, like I love when I don't know if you guys ever heard the Gypsy Tales podcast that Mitch was on and stuff, and it was just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. As a matter of fact, that weekend that I met you, that night went to dinner with Dave Galland and Thomas, and had a really and that was, I think, the genesis of them coming on board with the podcast, because he was asking me about it, and um, so very cool there. But then Thomas told me about that Gypsy Tales podcast with Mitch,
Yeah.
and you know, for me, it's a 3.5 hour drive home from Havasu to Southern California, where I live,
Yeah.
and I listened to that thing the whole way home, and it was like
Yeah.
I was riveted. His story is so good, and
I have to
largely, you
listen
know,
to it.
yeah, largely Thomas's motocross racing as a youngster got him into his position with Monster. It's crazy how the whole evolution is, and yeah, there's a lot of stories of Monster Energy being super loyal to their family, and Tiger Woods being one. You know, that
Yeah.
story that Mitch tells is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, like we were talking about earlier, right? It's that thing with Tiger, right? Could have went either way, right? There's a lot of sponsors when that Tiger thing went down, they'd have
Yeah.
been like,
Yeah.
dude, you're out of here, bro. Like that's not even
Yeah,
a question.
wash my hands of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Monster said, "Are you kidding me? We don't back out on our family, right?" And it's the same with me over the years, right? I have ups and downs in my career with results, or with controversy and arguments, with promoters or whatever it may be, right? And they've always stuck behind me and been loyal, and for I know that they're my sponsor, right? But I truly think of everybody at Monster as like my family, and they've always been there for me no matter what. And I'm whether I rode for Monster in the future, whether I didn't race anymore, I owe those guys and everybody at Monster, all the way up the ladder to the Sachs family and everybody, just everything that I've been able to do over the years.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, I can tell you how proud I am to join the family along with you guys, and Myrick. I mean,
Absolutely.
your team, Monster Energy MCon, has just been
Yeah.
super successful
We're
with
gonna
their
kick some
support.
ass this year. I'm calling it.
Myron, Myrick, how long have you been with Monster?
I think 3 seasons now. 3 complete
Okay.
seasons. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And you guys are running 1 or 2 boats this year?
Well, I kind of know about. I kind of
All
know
right.
about 2, but I'm
All
only
right.
supposed to know about
Oh,
1. We'll see.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. There you
one
go.
for sure. One for sure. Put it to you
Okay.
that.
Dustin, I think
Awesome.
you touched on something.
I
and
was
we're
gonna say
gonna
I'm
have to
starting
investigate
to
this.
digging in here.
Nice
Yeah.
job. Yeah,
We're
yeah,
trying to
Yeah.
get all this cat out of the bag stuff.
yeah. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I was
have
gonna
to have you on
say.
more often to
I was
unveil
gonna.
more
I'm
stuff.
trying to ask him questions that he doesn't normally want to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
normally know all the boat stuff, so people don't even ask, right, about that type of stuff. Where I'm like, hey, I
No,
want
they
to
s-
give me all
yeah.
the details.
No, it's
Yeah,
great.
that's awesome.
It's interesting to get the tables turned on us, asking us questions when we're usually
Yeah,
one
like,
peppering
oh,
people.
Deer in the
because
headlight.
I think a lot of the a lot of your guys listeners, right, and we're trying to, you guys with Monster and everybody gonna try to grow the podcast, right, want to get new followers, and from the motocross watercraft side, whatever it may be,
Yeah,
right, and those people
that's
want
right.
to know as much as, dude, it's cool to hear my story, right? But you
Yeah.
guys, both of you guys have been, in these industries and stuff a long time, and been able to, obviously test lots of boats, drive lots of boats, do all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, the average person would never even get a chance to drive one boat of the caliber that you guys have driven, let alone, 10, 20, 30 boats, or race them, and, different things over the years. It's,
Yeah.
it's amazing to see. It's crazy
Very
to me
fortunate.
that Ray, you never got into the racing side of it, with
Yeah,
obviously being that into building the boat and driving the boats, that you never
right.
got into the race side of it.
Yeah, I mean, not competitively, but definitely, hung around long enough to get my feet wet, and
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of them. He just
yeah,
Yeah.
says I'm good with that.
yeah.
And Ray, you'll be at all the powerboat races this year as well, or
I'll be
certain ones?
at many of them as I can. The offshore ones, yes. I just booked some travel to go be a part of the first opening day for the F1 Powerboat Series of IHRA with Tim Siebold. So I'll be
Okay.
there checking that out, and drag boat races as well, and then obviously your series as well. And That being said, Dustin, does that prohibit you from competing in the IHRA series?
So I wouldn't normally compete in that series myself any longer, right? Over the years, I did. I raced in that series in for 3 seasons, which used to be the P1 series, right? That IHRA bought out, and so I won the 3 years that I raced that series. 23, 24, 25. I won the championship all 3 years in a row. And actually, that was the last season that I raced the endurance series, and it was cool because not only did I get to win the championship like that last year, I got to race. Both of my sons raced in the pro class that year in the endurance series, so to get to share the track my final year in the endurance series with both of my sons. And my oldest son that year finished second overall behind me. So I got to stand on the podium on my final race of my endurance career with my son to collect the national championship that year.
That'd be
Wow.
emotional.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
there's
when
not
you have the
many.
kids
There's not many people, right, that get to race with their kids in general, let alone
Yeah.
get to stand on the podium multiple weekends. I'll send you some pictures, Ray. We're shooting
Yeah.
champagne all over each other, and then also to also collect an actual national championship and a retirement kind of trophy type thing from that series with your
That's
kids.
so cool. Yeah.
I think Tyler and I's goal is to race against our boys one day. And my oldest is
awesome.
17 and Bear's
Yeah.
4. Yeah, so it'd be cool.
You
For
can't
sure.
even explain how cool it is, and as a parent to be able to share the track with them, and also want to kick their ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like look
We
what
have an
Dad still
ongoing
got
house.
it.
We have an ongoing thing. It's like you talk about the competitiveness and the opposite. My dad would be the opposite of letting being cool with me beating him, where I'm the opposite. I want to beat the shit out of both of my kids at all times in everything I do. And I want to be the best in the house. My wife always tells me that I need a third hand to pat myself on the back. And, but the way I look at it is, man, those little bastards, they got to earn that shit, man. I'm not giving it to them.
Yeah. For
That's
sure.
right.
I didn't work this hard for them just for me to give them a win.
Yeah,
I've been
that's
in it
right.
too
No
long.
question.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, super good stuff, Dustin. I mean, congratulations on your amazing career, and then obviously
Thank
the
you.
appointment of being managing director of the awesome new IHRA Pro Watercraft Series. Can't wait to see what you do to it and take it to the next level, and then even beyond that. So, and Myrick, we got good stuff coming up. Very excited about it. So the next time you see this podcast, we'll have some monster gear all over the place. So
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to get a banner and
Awesome.
hang it for
So,
my
Myrick,
kid.
your first race will be
St.
with
Pete.
St. Pete with me, right? Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome.
March
And
27th.
Ray, you'll be at that race?
I'll be at that race, so we should do something
Awesome.
live there.
Yeah.
That'd be
Recap.
sick. Yeah. Let's recap. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome.
Well,
Dustin,
I appreciate
thank
you
so
guys
much
for having us
joining
on.
Appreciate your time. Thank you for your patience on sticking with us and making this happen.
Man, I apologize for my I apologize for my my communication, and hopefully the way we got it working, it looks good.
It's tricky. Yeah.
Thank you guys to everybody that tunes in, and like I said, thank you to everybody in the boat community, and can't wait to race with you guys, and I'm excited to IHRA and the new series, everybody get to see what's coming out for the PWC world as well.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Please remember. Yeah. Thank you. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share to the Boats and Bros podcast, and brought to you by Monster Energy. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you, guys.
This podcast is powered by Speedboat Magazine. Subscribe now at speedboat.com for 9 power-packed current issues a year direct to your mailbox.